Welcome to Dark Vault. The light in the corner office never turns off. It is 3 a.m. in the heart of a gleaming financial district, and the glass facade of Aethelgard Systems glows with the cold blue hum of the future. From the street, it looks like the pinnacle of human achievement, a billion-dollar unicorn, the darling of every major venture capital firm from London to New York, a company that promised to solve the global energy crisis with a single, elegant piece of proprietary hardware. But if you were to bypass the biometric scanners and step through those heavy oak doors, you would hear something that should chill your blood. Silence. No humming servers, no clicking keyboards, no late-night brainstorming sessions, just the sound of your own breath echoing off walls that were never meant to hold anything at all. For 3 years, the world worshipped a ghost. For 3 years, the smartest minds in finance poured life savings, pension funds, and national subsidies into a void. They weren't just buying a product, they were buying a miracle. But miracles are the specialty of the desperate, and in the high-stakes game of global tech, everyone was starving for a savior. The man at the center of it was Marcus Thorne. He was young, charismatic, and possessed the kind of eyes that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. He didn't just sell technology, he sold a version of the future where the lights never went out. The press called him the next Edison. The banks called him a safe bet. But Marcus Thorne had a secret that was worth $1.2 billion. He didn't have a company. He had a stage. The illusion began with the headquarters, a sprawling, brutalist masterpiece of concrete and glass. Every morning, 200 employees arrived in tailored suits, swiping their badges and disappearing into the elevators. They looked busy. They looked important. But the reality was a choreographed play. The employees were mostly aspiring actors and desperate freelancers hired through shell companies. Their job wasn't to code or engineer, it was to look like they were doing it. They sat at workstations with empty plastic shells for monitors. They spoke into disconnected phones. They staged frantic meetings in glass-walled boardrooms whenever a potential investor walked through the lobby. It was a billion-dollar movie set, and the investors were the only ones who didn't know they were the audience. One afternoon, a senior partner from a top-tier private equity firm arrived for a surprise inspection. He wanted to see the reactor core, the heart of the technology that was supposed to change the world. The air grew thick. The security guards tightened their grip on their holsters. Marcus Thorne didn't blink. He led the investor down to the sub-basement through 3 layers of reinforced steel doors. The room was bathed in a pulsing violet light. A massive metallic cylinder hummed with terrifying power. The investor felt the vibration in his teeth. He saw the readings on the digital monitors spiking into the red. He left that day and authorized a $200 million wire transfer. He had seen the proof with his own eyes, but he hadn't noticed the heavy industrial extension cord running from the back of the cylinder through a hole in the drywall and into the building's main power grid. The reactor core was a hollow tank filled with LED strips and a high-frequency vibration motor. The unlimited energy was being bought from the local utility company at a standard commercial rate. The cracks didn't start with a whistleblower. They started with a delivery driver. A man named Elias was trying to drop off a shipment of high-end server racks that the company had ordered to maintain appearances. He couldn't find the loading dock. He walked around the perimeter of the massive building, checking his GPS, then his paperwork. The address was correct. The building was right there. But when he looked at the blueprints on his tablet, he realized something that made his stomach drop. The building didn't have a loading dock. It didn't have a ventilation system capable of cooling a server farm. It didn't even have a trash collection contract. He looked up at the towering glass structure and realized it was a facade. It was a beautiful, expensive skin stretched over nothing. When the SEC finally moved in, they expected a firefight or a frantic shredding of documents. They found neither. When the tactical teams breached the 44th floor, they didn't find Marcus Thorne. Burning evidence. They found an empty floor, no desks, no chairs, no employees, just rows of power strips plugged into nothing. The billion-dollar valuation had evaporated the moment the sun went down the previous evening. The bank accounts were empty, the funds moved through a labyrinth of offshore accounts that led to a server in a basement in the Cayman Islands. that wasn't even plugged in. The most successful tech company of the decade didn't go bankrupt. It simply ceased to exist. Marcus Thorne was never found. Some say he's living on a private island purchased with the fragments of 1,000 shattered dreams. Others believe he was never one man at all, but a symptom of a society so obsessed with the next big thing that we stopped asking if the thing was even real. The tragedy isn't that one man lied. The tragedy is that we all wanted the lie to be true so badly, that we helped him build the walls. We built a cathedral for a god that wasn't there, and then we acted surprised when the roof caved in. In the end, Aethelgard Systems left behind nothing but a vacant glass tower and a question that haunts every boardroom in the country. How do you tell the difference between a visionary and a ghost? We want to believe we are too smart to be conned, that we can see through the smoke and mirrors. But the truth is much darker. If the mirror is beautiful enough, we will stare into it until we disappear. For more deep dives into the shadows of history and the mechanics of the ultimate deception, stay with us here at Dark Vault 88. If you found this journey into the void haunting, make sure to like and subscribe to join our search for the truth. Because in a world of illusions, the most dangerous thing you can do is believe your own eyes.